welcome back to Core Karate and the Karate Neighbourhood. Today I'm going to be going through a few hip stretches because it's really important in karate. We use our hip muscles and our glutes all the time, so you've got to look after them. The only thing that you'll need for this video is a pair of socks, so it's easy to slide into the stretches. So without further ado, let's get started. Stretching with a mat is much nicer on your joints, so please try to use one. And please make sure to warm up beforehand, especially if you know your muscles are particularly tight. We're going to start off with some simple stretches to warm into it, and then the stretches are going to slowly get harder. I found this one off the many tutorials that I've been watching and I really love it. It really helps me start off my stretching routine in a great way. They're called hip swivels, so you keep your feet still and you try to keep your body as still as possible. As you're stretching, you should feel a nice stretch deep into your hip socket, and then you can also further the stretch by leaning forwards towards one of your knees as they're on the floor. This helps to stretch the glute muscles because the glute muscles can also inhibit the flexibility around your hips and your hamstrings as well. Remember to keep your back straight, no cheating. This next stretch, some people call it the butterfly. I've always done this during my karate training. You use your elbows to push your knees as far as you can towards the floor. You must pull your feet as close as you can to your bum, and don't worry at the start, you might be not as flexible, so your knees might be up a little bit higher, but just keep pushing yourself. If you need to, get somebody else to push your knees down from behind, and you can also try getting your head to your feet to further the stretch if they're already down to the floor. And another great way is get someone to hold your knees and stretch to the right, and then to the middle, and then to the left as well. This next stretch I got from when I was doing physio. You go into a long lunge and it's used to stretch your hip flexor muscle in your back leg. To make the stretch even better, you can tense your glute muscles as you do this. You can also put one arm towards the sky and it helps you twist towards your forwards leg. This helps to really put that stretch onto the hip flexor muscle. You can also go into a great hamstring stretch from this position. To do this effectively, try and point your toes towards the sky and get your chest as close as you can to your front leg. And you can also tense your quads to make this stretch even more effective. If you're feeling extra tight, then you can always pulse this stretch backwards and forwards. This next stretch is also known as the pigeon pose. So you put one leg forwards, and the further away your foot is from your body, the harder the stretch is on your glute muscle of your front leg. You want to aim to push your hips down towards the floor and lean forwards with a straight back to put that stretch onto your glute muscles even more. You can make the stretch easier by bringing your foot closer to your body, so work out what's the right level to start for you. This next stretch I've always done in the dojo. It's called the L-sit, so you bend one foot all the way around to touch your bum and you leave the other one out straight. Your toe points up to the ceiling, and to stretch your hip muscles, you want to keep your back straight and lean down as far as you can. And so you might not get very far with this because your hip muscles might be quite tight like mine, but you just got to keep pushing yourself and eventually you'll get further and further closer to your knee or to the floor. So you can do this towards your front leg and towards the middle and to the back leg as well. And once you've done this, you might want to do this with a bent back as well, and you'll find you'll be able to get down much further because it's stretching different muscles, but it's always good to do both. When I first discovered this stretch, it was amazing. It's called the 4 stretch. So you cross one leg onto the other with your foot facing you, and you try and lean forwards all the way to try and get your head to touch your foot. You should feel a stretch deep into your glute muscles or deep into your hip socket as well. Just work out where's tight for you. You can adjust where your front foot is to work out what's best. Now this stretch I discovered when I was by myself doing a cool down, and it's absolutely brilliant. So it's sort of like a half box split, and you can apply it to 2 different kicks. So this one is where your front foot facing towards the front, and then now it's to the side, just like a mawashi geri. So before it was like a side thrust kick or a karategnome geri, now it's for a roundhouse kick. And you'll feel the different muscles that are being stretched when you just change that foot position. And if you think about it, we do kicks all the time in karate or different martial arts, and it's great to just include this in your cool down to really stretch those muscles out that you're using all the time. Now this next one is a killer, it's called the frog stretch. So you move your 2 knees apart and you're aiming to push your hips all the way down to the floor, just like as if it was a box split, but instead your knees are bent and your feet are turned out towards the sides. So now this is an absolute killer, and you might want to get a partner to help push your hips down towards the floor even more, because gravity isn't quite as strong enough to pull you down, especially if your hip muscles are quite tight. Now an important thing to remember with this stretch is you want to keep your hips in line with your knees, not slightly behind or in front. So make sure, I'm just showing you there, make sure that they're staying in the middle, and that's the perfect position for this stretch. Hope you enjoyed a few of my favourite hip stretches there. There's just a few that I've collected over the years and I like to use around my training. I've got some of them off the internet, and I've got some of them from some of the sessions that I've been training in with different senseis. So hopefully you can take something away from this video, because that's the main aim of it really. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, follow us on Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and I'll see you soon. Bye!